The only goal scored by Ryan Gauld with a crisp, well-taken header to beat Emil Gazdov. Pacific huffed and puffed. Josh Hurd had their best chances in the first half. But in the end, the class of the Whitecaps told at Starlight Stadium. And it is the two-time Canadian champions who will take that big lead back to BC Place in 6 weeks' time. Ryan Gauld, the goal scorer, and Whitecaps have beaten Pacific FC in the first leg of the TELUS Canadian Championship semi-final by a 1-0.
There is your final. Andy, Gareth, Jordan here with you. Not a blowout by any means. Pacific holding their own. We knew they were strong defensively, but it would take that kind of header from Ryan Gauld to find the back of the net here against Pacific. Overall thoughts on the match?
This has been the story of Pacific season. Did enough defensively. Was a very good goal by Ryan Gauld, but just from an attacking perspective, not enough there. The game changed for them in a positive way, attack-wise, when Eamon Salouf came in. Really made a difference, but not quite enough. And at the end of the day, I mean, Ryan Gauld is just so good. How important is he for this Whitecaps team this season? 10 goals, 7 assists in 25 games. I'm a Vanderpump Rules fan.
We know.
As my good friend Sheena Shea would say, he's good as Gauld. Doesn't get much better than that.
I was
Dynamite.
wondering when we would get one of those quotes in there, because you are quite obsessed with that show. I'm expecting a quote from one of your favorite shows here, Jordan, as you describe this match.
You know what? I like trash television, and Love Island would be one of my favorite shows right now for sure. So we're not even going to quote anything from there.
The game was on the island.
Look
Let's
at
go.
that.
We can keep
Love
the
is in the air.
going.
Beautiful. No, Wheels is right. This is Pacific FC. This is their Achilles heel, right? They're defending well. They defend together. But they're just looking for someone to release and someone to make these games a bit more interesting for them. I think it's tough being down 1-0 in this match, because now you got to go to BC Place and probably score 2, right, to go out and beat them, which could change in 6 weeks, but I just don't see how that's happening with this squad. They play this way, they play this tight, but again, they just need to dominate in the offensive end, and they just can't seem to do that right now.
I mean, they pushed the Whitecaps. Like it was a competitive game.
Even game.
But right now, this version of Pacific don't quite have enough to get it over the line. And difference makers for Vanni Sartini, like White and Gauld, they make the difference. Other than that, it was a pretty ordinary performance from the Whitecaps. It was good, not great. Kind of like their season has been, which at this stage is good enough, and this 1-0 result may be good enough at the end.
Well, let's take a look at Ryan Gauld's goal, because it was pretty fantastic. Beautiful. And it was very, I mean, that's tough for the keeper to make a save on. And you knew the way, again, Pacific plays defensively, Jordan, this is the type of goal Vancouver needed to score here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And the breakdown and the movement, there's so much to get into. So Laborda with this ball in there as well. Gauld makes a run into that area. Oh. This guy's 5'7", the movement, but the timing. Like, he does this time and time again just to get into a space in between defenders and put enough on it. And I think this is a note for young players that might be staying up late, or if you're on the West Coast watching at home, is that you believe that the ball's going to end up there. Don't try to guess where the ball's going to be and then run. You can't do that. He exploits, he sees a space. Oh, if it ends up here, this is where I'm going to win it. And it ends up getting there, and he knows all he has to do is just put that little flick. Don't try to run to a spot and wait. It is impossible to do that for headers. Him with that timing, he's 5'7", a wee little man. He'll probably say that. But the way he heads the ball and the way that he's so technical, it's a goal. He says we a lot.
I say he's not so wee, because the way he plays is huge.
I
don't know if you can just show that goal again, where that run actually came from on the
on
opposite side, through players, hitting the gap. Like, this is what the best number 10s do. Like, no one in the world does it better than Lionel Messi, finding those gaps of space. Generally now, at this stage of his career, it's in behind or in between. He went right through that gap. And the deftest of touches, it's the perfect touch as well. Man, there's so much to love about this All-Star. I'm not a big All-Star game guy, but he deserves that kind of honor each and every year. He is that good.
He deserves to chat with our Christian Jack.
With the Gatorade performer of the match, Ryan Gauld gets the winning goal here tonight. Ryan, first, before we speak about your goal, what pleased you the most about your performance tonight?
I think it was just a solid performance from us all round. These are the kind of games we've struggled in the past. And I think, we made a good job of taking control of the game early on and created a few half chances, but thankfully we got one in at the end, and going into the second leg with a 1-0 lead.
You've had a good run of form in front of the net as well. You're now into double-digit goals. How will you remember this one? It looked like you tracked the movement from Laborda's cross and to get a good head on it.
Yeah, we've got an emphasis on somebody getting across the front post. I seen a wee gap there and just managed to get a wee step on the centre back, but it was a good ball from Matthias, and thankfully we came away with a 1-0 win.
Last one for you, Ryan. You chose this country. We're thankful that you did. You played in lower leagues and in Scotland, and been to a Scottish Cup final. You played in Inverness and Dumbarton and all these small stadiums. A full house here tonight. Fantastic for the province that you now call home. No?
Yeah, no, I love coming here. I love coming over to the island and staying here for a couple of days. And it's a lovely wee stadium. They've got good fans as well, and it's proven in the past for us it's a tricky stadium to come to. So I love coming over here, and thankfully it seems like every year we get a game over here. So hopefully there's more games with Pacific to come.
Fantastic tonight. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Wait, am I being punked?
Called it.
You said we. You said we. He says we. This is a drinky game right now.
You called it, Jordan Wilson. Well done.
All right.
What a player.
Let's take a look at some other Vancouver Whitecaps chances, because Gauld was part of them as well. What did you... I know you said it wasn't like this overwhelmingly fantastic performance by the Whitecaps, but, this is a team that came in and meant to play and wanted to assert their dominance over Pacific.
Yeah, and that big chance right there, that vertical run by White, you see it all the time, right? Plays it off to Gauld, but yeah, I thought they were in it. I thought the biggest chance of the match came to Pacific, and Herd's gonna think about that for a while, but Vancouver are pressing and pushing, but again, just how Pacific defend in numbers, it didn't seem like a big chance today, Wheels.
Emil Gazdov, this was the moment of the match, not the Ryan Gauld goal. Emil Gazdov has grown by leaps and bounds this season. Look at this save. Ooh. Brian White, one of the best strip number 9s in Major League Soccer, and I just don't say that lightly. Gazdov diving across. Last season, I don't think he's in a position to make that save. No. It's just how improved a young 20-year-old Canadian goalkeeper Emil Gazdov is. That's just an incredible save. But that was about it. I still think the Whitecaps are a little bit thin in terms of high-quality depth players. They need to address that this summer, because I think Axel Schuster, the squad he's put together, it's almost there, but it's not quite there. Bringing Ali Ahmed back and Sam that helps, but I still think they need to step more. Who's going to be that third player? Who's going to be the third amigo when it comes to White Gauld? Who's going to be the third one? They need that. There's a missing piece there that they still need.
I think with every season, you want to keep adding, right? Like last season, they won the double now for CanChamp, so that one's in the bag. And last season, they had a bit of a run in playoffs, but fell short to a better side. And you've been saying that all the time on One Soccer Today, all the time that we talk about Vancouver Whitecaps is who's that third dragon? Who's that person? Krylak has come in to maybe help, but that's for me like 2.5. You need another big dog that kind of relieves that pressure and see what Gauld and what service you would give to that person. I
will say this, the Whitecaps are gradually improving this season. This was better than either of the games and how they played against Calgary.
It's very true.
They were just in more control, and that's a testament to the direction that they're going. Again, peak late. Last year, they might have peaked a little bit too early, peak later on, and hopefully they're able to land a player or two that really help their chances.
You do wonder how this game would have gone, though, again, if Pacific had the offensive prowess that we want to see from them. Because we'll take a look at some of their chances here, Jordan, but just what are you seeing that is preventing them from getting these goals?
I've been saying it week in and week out, but it's just the lack of quality in the box in that final third. James Merriman must be pulling out his luscious hair because they always get into these opportunities. Look, but even there, I agree with Wheels. You could hit that first time, but even after the cutback, or he could shoot and pick a corner and score. And I know Herd, this is his hometown club. He's going to be hard on himself not to get that goal. But they have these moments where they get in the right areas, but they don't have anyone to put the ball in the back of the net right now.
It's supposed to be Salouf. He's your main man. When he came on the field, it made a difference. But he's coming back from a frustrating, nagging hip flexor injury that has kept him in and out of the Pacific lineup. Perius here doesn't typically play down the right. I mean, I think he should go near a post there.
Yeah.
I know your instincts are like play it across and then maybe the goalkeeper spills it. There might be a player there. Bomer cheated.
Yeah.
He was cheating. He gave him that corner. Get your head up. You pick the corner, maybe a little bit less power, more placement. I think that was a real chance for Salouf.
Yeah, go and be the hero of that one, right? If he did that kind of right foot outside of the foot little swinger, hit it hard, it could go in.
Josh Hurd, who we just saw, had a great chance in this game with Christian Jack.
With Pacific FC skipper Josh Hurd, in the end, it was a narrow 1-0 loss. What was your thoughts on the match?
That was a tough one. I think we had our moments, and then they took theirs, and that's a 1-0. But there's another leg to it. We came together. There are positives to take from it, and we'll go again. It's a little bit of it's about a month away still, but we'll all take it for the second leg.
You said the positives. What did you like about your performance?
I thought we were organized defensively. We're disciplined, and then again, it's just taking our chances going forward. And I think that's what's been missing a little bit all season. But we'll work on it, and we'll continue to get better at it.
I know you've done this twice before, but it doesn't get old. No, 5,100 sold out here. You're an island boy.
Yeah.
Play the Whitecaps. Pretty special night for the province.
It is. It's awesome. It doesn't get old, like you say. This is the best part. I'll look back in my career, and these are the nights that I'll remember the most, and I'll cherish the most. Next time, hopefully, we get a win, but it'll be all right. We got that second leg still.
Well, you still got that second leg.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? You're going to be a bit more braver, maybe, to just go out there and try and get the away goals?
I think so. We got to be brave, right? Go get that goal. Go get that win, and that's the plan.
Thanks, Josh.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, they're obviously feeling pretty good about themselves despite the loss, the one goal. Again, this is the first time, even though they're meeting for the third time in 4 years here between Pacific and Vancouver. It's the first time they're playing a home and away because the other two were always that one and done. 2021 went the way of Pacific. Last year went the way of Vancouver. We'll see how this one goes on August 27th.
They're still in this.
Yeah.
Like, this tie isn't over. Like, obviously, going back to BC Place, it's going to be a tough one. Just go to get the opening goal and put the pressure on the Whitecaps. Like, Pacific are competitive enough that they can go there and play with this team, and the Whitecaps simply can't take a night off. So stranger things have happened. Cavalry went to BC Place and beat the Vancouver Whitecaps last time. So they're getting Dominguez, the Guatemalan international, into the team. He'll be up to speed in time. We'll see what else they can add. I still think Pacific should be one of those CPL sides. I know a number of teams are looking to strengthen ahead of the window opening on international window opening on July 12th. So let's see what they can do. They're right in this, and again, they're a frustrating team to play against, so it won't be easy for the Whitecaps.
They're hard to beat, but yeah, you know with football, Andy and Wheels, it's about waves, right? Maybe they're getting on a wave in 6 weeks where they're scoring goals. Maybe they're scoring 2 a game, right? If they can add that into their arsenal, then they're a team that can compete. One thing I can say about Josh Hurd, though, when he misses a chance, it sticks with him, and the next time he usually rewards his team. So I can expect a great game from him the next leg.
All right, well, there you go. Our doubleheader. This is leg 1 of the TELUS Canadian Championship semifinal in the books. And we will continue now with some regular CPL programming here as we take a look at match week 14. It's going to be a busy one. And then Sunday, it is the Tony Bet match of the week, Forge Pacific. Head coach of the men's national team, Jesse Marsh, says he wants to be in attendance and will be in attendance for that game.
Right?
So not Carly Rae Jepsen, Jesse Marsh. Be on your best behavior that night. 1-0, the final here, Vancouver beating Pacific. In our earlier game, we saw Forge FC defeat Toronto FC 2-1. Coming up next, KJ checks in with us. Stay with us on One Soccer.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada because this journey belongs to everyone.
Do we really have any choice at all?
Everyone has a choice, and every choice has a consequence.
Which do you choose?
Life's full of tough choices, isn't it?
How do you choose?
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
Here's a look at your full-time stats. Vancouver Whitecaps off to a great start in leg one here in the semifinal on their quest to three-peat as Voyageurs Cup champions. Pacific, though, just allowing the one goal. And we just heard that interview with Josh Hurd, who was alongside the gentleman I'm going to welcome in now, Christian Jack. So he's feeling pretty positive about leg two that will go August 27th. But before we talk about the home side here, KJ, just what impressed you about the Vancouver Whitecaps?
Yeah, I mean, it was a business trip for them, wasn't it? I thought they were very professional. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, the players who weren't here, but I think the players who were delivered. And, you know, every credit to Fanny Sartini, who I think has really taken away the chaos that surrounded this Whitecaps team before he came in here. He's taken this competition seriously. He told us before the game that this was the most important match of this month, and the second leg will be the most important match of the month, next month for them as well. And what does that say? Well, that tells them that they've got the priorities right. They know that winning trophies is the most important thing. It sticks with fans. It sticks with players. And they just put a massive step forward to getting to the final once again. You know, they're trying to get their third straight Canadian Championship Voyageurs Cup here. And it has to be said, yes, that has been done before. But this is a different competition now with the introduction of Canadian Premier League teams and obviously League One teams as well. You know, we're not talking about competitions with 4 teams anymore. You're talking about 2-legged ties and multiple rounds. It's harder to win. So I think it was a lot of credit it deserves to the Whitecaps. Gold is obviously class. White was very good as well. Kubas and Laborda all the way through. I thought there's a lot of impressive players tonight. A business trip for them. They fly back to Vancouver tonight. They train again tomorrow morning before flying to St. Louis on Friday. So every credit in a busy week that they had their priorities straight tonight here.
KJ alluded to that interview we just heard that you did with Josh Hurd, and he seems pretty positive. It's like he can't wait for August 27th. Almost sounds like he wants it to be tomorrow. What do they need to do better that you feel would make them pull off a victory?
Well, there will be a different side by then. You'd hope if you're a Pacific fan that Saluf will be 100%. Dominguez will be in at that point. There's a number of other players that, you know, that they're looking at. They may be getting a new striker by then as well, so watch this space for that. I asked him about the word bravery. He doubled down on that and went there as well. I think they need to be braver. This Whitecaps team defending a 1-0 lead will not make the same mistake as they did against Cavalry, where they will play weaker players and try and get through it. They've learned their lesson there, so you will not be able to take them lightly. I think they just have to bring a little bit more pace into the side. Try and get in behind and get those crosses. They had some chances tonight, but, you know, Pacific are at their best when they really have pace in wide areas. Hopefully Adonijah Reed will be back at that moment for that game. He should be as well. Have a little bit more depth in there because, you know, it's no secret, right? They've really struggled to score goals. So I think in the area of disappointment there'll be is that they didn't get the goal tonight. They're still in the tie. If they can somehow go there and get a goal early in the game and suddenly they've equaled it, then they've got a chance.
There was a great crowd here tonight, KJ. You know, I even think back to 2021 when Pamadou Ka even said, paint it purple, and they did. How has the fan base even just gotten on board, especially since, again, this is the third time they're facing Vancouver in the Canadian Championship? Do you feel that rivalry there?
I do. I mean, it's not a rivalry that's fueled by hatred at all. It's almost a rivalry that's bringing the Ferryside Derby together and the love for the sport. And, you know, it's not even dark here tonight. I cannot tell you what just an incredible day it's been here for the weather, the energy, the two teams coming together. There's so many connections between the two sides. You know, the Whitecaps, much like TFC and Montreal in MLS, have produced a lot of players that have now given the opportunity that in the Canadian Premier League. There's so many relationships that are built between them. And it fills me as a lover of the sport of pride just to see what we can build tonight here in British Columbia. You know, hopefully more of these people will leave tonight understanding that the Canadian Championship was a special night, but they can come back in a couple of weeks and watch this Pacific team regularly in the Canadian Premier League. And this has been a banner month. Copa America with Colombia shirts, and the crowd tonight has been all over the country, just much as the Euros. And it's great to see the kids here tonight as well and really embracing it. So brick by brick, step by step, we continue to build this great game in this country, and this is another monumental night.
Well, it's great to hear that kind of stuff. KJ, thanks so much for taking the time here. Christian Jack out in Pacific FC Starlight Stadium there as they just hosted Vancouver Whitecaps. Vancouver with the 1-0 victory. Well, Bev Priestman has named her roster. We know the 18 she's taking to Paris, and then we're going to see them in action this Saturday, 3 p.m. ET against Australia before they begin their Olympic title defense on July 25th. The Paris Olympic Games officially open on July 26th. When we return, we'll hear from the winning coach, Vanni Sartini. Big night for the fans as they get some autographs before they go home. That's always special.
To play. It's something that's in us from the very beginning, and something we take with us on every step of the journey. When we have no words, it gives us a way to speak. When we are still finding our way in the world, it gives us somewhere to belong. And no matter who we are or where we come from, it gives us the right to dream.
Christine Sinclair as she scores at her 5th World Cup. Alfonso Davies!
It's time to celebrate the game we love. It's time to play.
So earlier tonight, as I mentioned, Forge FC, the 2-1 victory over Toronto. Toronto just squeaking in that road goal near the end, which we don't think it should have counted. Prince Owosu getting the goal, but yanking a player down in the box. Either way, they get it. Forge does pull off the victory, and here tonight it's Vancouver Whitecaps with a 1-0 win over Pacific. Let's hear from Vanni Sartini.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to be a very hard game, and I think it played out the kind of game that we expected. This season in the CPL, Pacific is probably the more solid defensive team, and they had this attitude today too, playing very compact and very low, and they were trying to counter. And I think in the first half we're too stubborn in trying to do something that was very difficult, and so at the end of the first half I told the guys that we should have played more balls in behind the line to threaten more, especially Daraluk and La Jeunesse playing with the wingers in behind, and it paid off immediately, to be honest, because we had a great chance with Brian and where Emil made a fantastic save. And then with another rolling the ball, we scored a goal. So I think we won deservedly so. But the game was very tight, very intense, and it's always hard to come here and play. And I'm satisfied by the effort of the guys.
Hey, Vanni, Sports Talks with Justin and Jamal here in Victoria. You guys have had a lot of things going on. You've been in Vancouver. Your players currently are in other tournaments, in the Euro or Copa. How do you keep you guys focused on a night tonight in Langford, which again is an away match for you? How do you keep the guys motivated for this game tonight To me, both teams a little bit of a slow start, but the rest of the match was really exhilarating. It seemed quite wonderful to me. How do you keep the guys motivated for a game like tonight, as the armband gets passed around from Gall to the big V? Like, how do you keep them going?
Yeah, you know, tonight. So the main thing was like we are 3 games away now, 2 games away from winning another trophy, and it was imperative tonight to do a good job in order to set us up perfectly for the second leg. We did a good job, and so yeah, that was that was the main motivation. The other thing is that the fact that even in, it's already a semi-final, but also it's a derby, and we know that when we come here, it's always a little special and a little. Of course, they give 110% instead of 100%. So that's the way that we motivate our players. And to be honest, the response in terms of effort, being concentrated, doing the things has been really good. And you know, I'm really satisfied with the effort. We could have done, in my opinion. I agree with you. I don't know if it's a slow start or it's more of a not understanding what we had to do in the first 15-20 minutes, but the second half were actually really good.
Agreed. Thanks, Manny.
We're going to Michael now. So, Manny, I don't know how much you looked at the game elsewhere this afternoon with TFC and Force. Did you use that as another
I used that as a motivation. I said, actually, we were watching the game right before and when I was doing the speech before the game, they were still 2-0. So, yeah, I told them I used that thing and also the second leg that we played in Vancouver against Cavalry when we, to be honest, our performance was so bad that we risked to get out. And so that's the reason why. And I told them this is the most important game of the month of July for us. Point. That's it. That's pretty simple. Because any other game in the MLS, of course, we're gonna go Saturday in St. Louis and win. But if by chance we're not doing a good performance, we had another 15 games that we can play. Here, if we make like mistakes in 10 minutes and we lose 3-0, it was over. So that's the reason why we had to be very concentrated. And I'm happy that we can start the second leg. I gotta be honest, I don't even remember when we play. I know it's the end of August, but I don't even remember when we play. The second leg ahead of them and being in control. It's not gonna be easy, not even in Vancouver, because they're gonna come and try to win. But it's better to be 1-0 up than 1-0 down.
I'll help you out, Vanny. It is August 27th, second. Like, I could hear him. He gives you something. Every time he speaks, he gives you something.
He's real.
Yeah. It's not just words. I love that he admits this is what I use to motivate my team. Yeah. These are the types of things that I do. It's just, I like it.
Another great night.
It was a great
Canadian
night.
soccer. Honestly, there's a lot of buzz around Canadian soccer right now. I don't know why some will just cover some teams and not the others. Let's all get behind our domestic leagues and our domestic club teams. Let's go. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was a great doubleheader night. Forge FC CPL side taking down Toronto FC 2-1. And then Vancouver FC. They've won the last 2 Voyageurs Cups. They won a 3-peat. They get off to a good start in their semifinal. 1-0, the result against Pacific. Thanks for tuning in, Canada. It's been a blast. Be sure to tune in to One Soccer Today, which starts on Thursday, where we will break down everything footy in the country and abroad. See you later.
To play,